Hello. Today is the lucky day of analyzing the world's flow-through news, which is shocking to reveal more than 300 U.S. advanced technologies for the Jianthong missile that China started implementing last August. Washington analyzed the Chinese disclosure contract and intelligence data on the 17th U.S. time and reported that after 2019, more than 300 U.S. technologies have been sold to dozens of companies related to Chinese missile and ultrasonic technology development. China's top military researchers on the U.S. export control blacklist have bought a lot of U.S. technologies, including products developed by U.S. companies that have signed contracts worth millions of dollars. Finally, the technology developed by the Pentagon also helped China develop supersonic missiles that hit the U.S. This is unbelievable. This ultra-high-speed transportation rocket flies at 5 times the speed of sound, which is the next generation that combines the strengths of existing ballistic missiles and cruise missiles, called a game series of air defense systems. In fact, with the current missile defense system, this supersonic missile, which is very difficult to detect and intercept, is capable of striking anything on Earth within an hour or two. The Washington Post analyzed the Chinese government's procurement database and other contracts showing that nearly 50 U.S. companies have sold Chinese military corporation products related to missile development after 2019. They said they confirmed that they sold passenger simulations by plane here. However, the Washington Post confirmed that both of these companies were included in the Defense Ministry's support for technology development and decided to receive $31.6 million and $13.9 million in support. The problem is that when using Jesus Simulator, which is an expensive wind test, a wind influence test, is also evaluated as an important technology for reducing development time of missile companies as it can minimize actual experiments and collect virtual data. However, the Washington Post pointed out that the agency was responsible for the design in China's extreme missile test last year as this important technology was included in the China Institute of Aeronautical Dynamics. However, it is possible to apply such core U.S. technology because South Korea's nuclear power is not on the U.S. government's export control list. However, the Washington Post pointed out that the missile could be controlled under a comprehensive policy banning the sale of software to China. In 2020, NC's Pennsylvania confirmed that it sold software to Beijing Science and Technology University's BIT through a subsidiary of a Chinese partner. Meanwhile, BIT reported that it was on the U.S. sanctions list just before signing the contract. In addition, Siemens Digital Industries, a German subsidiary, also signed a contract with Bitexco through Siemens' Chinese partner, and 4D technology companies in Arizona have transferred the Absolute Intervention System to China. In fact, the U.S. tax has been transferred to China's weapons development. In this regard, the Washington Post interviewed 6 Chinese scientists working for China's British military agency. In fact, through applications, the Chinese government can access technology related to U.S. missile design and testing that is hardly proposed. Meanwhile, there are even cases in which U.S. companies supported by the Defense Ministry sign contracts with the Defense Commission Agency, which is in charge of China's development of supersonic missiles. The Washington Post went on to analyze that U.S. technology made a decisive contribution to filling the technical gap between the U.S. and China in some areas, even if private military companies or a specific laboratory secure related companies. Last year, when China successfully test-launched the supersonic missile, U.S. Chief of Staff Mark Valley compared this to the Sputnik moment when the former Soviet Union wrote the world's first artificial satellite. Meanwhile, they clearly expressed American concerns. Mark Milley reacted the same way because the supersonic missile had to, and I'm telling you earlier, it's called the wind impact experiment, because it costs a lot of money. The Washington Post pointed out that the continuous introduction of premium software into China in important research field threatens China to overtake the U.S., emphasizing the U.S. government's challenge of preventing Chinese military from abusing U.S. reform. In short, the U.S. government was shocked. In the U.S., in the past, in order to prevent core technology from leaking to China, although sanctions have been strengthened, many technologies in the U.S. have reportedly been transferred by the Chinese government in the form of circulation. The U.S. is aware of the fact that its advanced technology has returned to weapons that harm its country and is strengthening sanctions against China. President Joe Biden has become the one who likes to take final sanctions against China regarding semiconductors. Therefore, China's semiconductor industry must now worry about its existence. The focus of this measure is to prevent advanced U.S. technology from using weapons to attack the U.S. The first in this effort to control exports of computers and semiconductors to China is to prevent exports of high-performance semiconductor chips used for supercomputers and artificial intelligence. This prevents China from using high-performance US chips to develop advanced weapons. Once again, I will manage this high-performance chip at the national security level. US semiconductor-related sanctions this time could cause a tsunami throughout China's technology industry, as it is a shock that China cannot imagine. Here's the vision. Therefore, the